the ultraviolet lanterns. Let's take a look. Hello heroes and villains, welcome to Multiverse. So the ultraviolet lantern have been added to this universe online, and Flashpoint Batman and I the other day were talking about it, and we're pretty sure that at some point we will probably get an ultraviolet lantern style in the game, or at the very least we should get an ultraviolet emblem in the game. But then we started talking about it some more and realized that we can already make a pretty good version of an ultraviolet lantern. At first though we were wondering which emblem could we use to recreate this lantern, and we did find an answer. So let's take a look. Although strangely enough, the Ultra Lantern seems to be modeled after Sinestro, which I find a bit odd. Basically, Sinestro was a template for the Sinestro Lantern core, and somehow they kind of hijacked the Sinestro to turn him into an Ultraviolet Lantern for some reason. A long sleeve version of the Disciple of Parallax could have been a better option. Sadly, as you can see, we kind of lose the emblem, so I wanted to have the emblem as well. So the Mystic Energy seems to be the less bad option in this case. For the gloves, obviously I had to go with the Sinistro gloves. And for the waist, I did go with the Disciple of Parallax. For the pants, pretty much any slimline will do the trick, but usually I use the reverse slimline by default. And for the boots, I needed a boot that had only one color channel, so the Stalwart Defender is the choice I made. I kind of like to use the nuclear boots, but they have the 3 different color channels, and the way that the colors are separated is a bit off-putting, I would say, so the Stalwart Defender is usually the better option. For the aura, I went with the Cosmic Purple, but we're going to take a look at a whole bunch of auras in just a minute. And for the emblem, after thinking about it a bit, we came to realize that we already had an emblem that it's not exactly the Ultraviolet emblem, but it's close enough. So we have the Heroic Tech emblem. Here I'm using the enhanced version, but I pretty much did put it black, so you could pretty much use the regular version if you want to. And if we take a quick look at the auras, I guess an option would be the Amethyst Mist aura. The Blue Mystic aura could kind of work. Basically any kind of dark blue, purplish type aura would do a good job for this character. I kind of like the Blue Plasmic Aura. It's kind of reminiscent of the Kirby Dots effects that Jack Kirby used to use when he wanted to create the energy effects in the comics. Although in this case the Dark Blue Plasmic Aura might be a bit more appropriate. The Dark Purple Aura could be also a good choice. The Enigmatic Aura could be a fun choice. The Pink Antimatter, I kind of like it, but it should be a tiny bit darker or more purple. Obviously there's the Purple Aura. The Shadow Aura could give a cool look to the character, but I don't think I would use that one. I guess the Slim Violet Aura would be an option, but it's a little too subtle for my taste. The Star Tech Aura, I thought it was a bit darker or more purple. It might be a good choice. Well, I guess it would still be a good choice. The Titanium Aura kind of give a nice contrast. I wish it would be a dark purple, a bit more dark purple. On the other end of the spectrum, the Umbral Storm Aura is a little bit too dark. So we do have a few good options, but I'll stick to the Cosmic Purple Aura. And there's quite a few purple or dark purple materials that could be used to recreate a nice ultraviolet lantern. Here in this case, I'm using the Wicked Chromo material. But let's look at a few other options. So here we have the Temporal Chromo material. I kind of prefer the Wicked material because the contrast between the shiny part and the dark part is much more pronounced. Here, if the dark part could be like a bit more black, I would probably go for this one. But it's still a nice option. So this here is the Dimensional Chromo material, so it would kind of work a bit. Although it does do something a bit weird with the emblem. Not sure why exactly. I guess there's the Enigmatic Chromo material that could be used, but it's a little too pink, I think. Although it kind of matches well with the aura. Although I thought the Smoke Chromo material could be a good option. Although the Smoke Chromo material is a bit, it's a bit challenging to be able to have at this point. Although it kind of works kind of well, but it does create some gray lines in the chest piece area. So I'm not too sure about that. I thought the Starry Caregiver Chroma could work. It's not bad, but the colors are off a bit, and there is a bit of a texture into the material, like a sort of a star texture. So I'm not too sure about that one. And of course, there is also the shaded comic material. I kind of like this one, but this one again is very, very difficult to get. Right now, people are buying it on the trade chat for like 2.2 billion. So unless you're really lucky and you manage to get this material from the booster bundle, it's gonna be hard to get. And I'm sure some of you thought I forgot our friend John Stewart. Basically, John Stewart, from what I can understand, was the very first Ultraviolet Lantern we saw in the comics. Although, strangely enough, afterwards, the Ultraviolet Lantern core was modeled after Sinestro for some reason. I have to admit, full disclosure, I did not really read the comics. And also, 2 years ago, when we first saw John Stewart as the Ultraviolet Lantern, I was almost tempted to make a video about it. But it happened just within one storyline, and then we were like 2 years without hearing about it. So I didn't think much of it, and I did not make a video about it. But today is the day of days, so today we did look at the Ultraviolet Lantern core. So if I was a betting man, I would bet that we will probably get an Ultraviolet Lantern core emblem at some point. But whether we will get the actual style or not, that remains to be seen.